truth, spilling my truth.
You know, when I first started experimenting with drugs, I know it might sound kind of crazy, but it used to be fun to me. And only because it was just part of the vibe. You know, I might link up with me a little vibe, I get loaded. And my little vibe ain't even know I was getting loaded like that. But you know, we gonna turn up, we gonna cut up together, and it'll be that. I was having so much fun while doing it, I wasn't able to realize really what it was costing me. Of course, the drugs gonna always affect any man on how they show up as a father, even if he's not able to recognize that. Cause I was there, I just wasn't present mentally. But you know, that's something that I got to live with. So, you know, as the time went by, the deeper I got into using drugs. But it still ain't feel like no problem to me because, you know, I still kept myself up. I ain't look bummy. I still felt like I was in great health. You know what I mean? But things got a little rocky, and I end up getting exposed on Facebook about my addiction. So, you know, now I'm embarrassed because everybody know. And I really wasn't embarrassed. I got exposed by a little babe I used to deal with or whatever. She was real close to me. We've been dealing with each other since we was young jits out here. So, and she a person who be around me every day. So, you know, her word like law. So when she came out on Facebook and ripped me like that, you know, I ain't gonna cap. Like today, it don't faze me, but back then it crushed me. Back then it had done crushed me because, you know, my mama got to see this, my daddy got to see it, my sister see this, you know, people who I look up to in the streets got to see this, you know what I mean? And I just went and ready to come out and show my face in that type of light, but I ain't had no choice. But, you know, that's just a lesson that I had to learn from. So after I, you know, mentally got over being exposed on Facebook, I really ain't care who knew that I was on the drug. Cause now my mama know, and you know, now my daddy know, and people who I love know, so I ain't really care. So I was, you know, out there in the public with it a little bit. And it was getting bad, but I still couldn't see it because I still had access to everything around me, you know. But then later on, I went to seeing how certain relationships went to, you know, kind of fall off, and certain bonds I had with individuals for 10, 15 years started to, you know, get tarnished, and things just wasn't seeming the same. And I used to tell myself, man, it's all in your head, bro. You tripping, just get your head together. But it was just certain things I couldn't unhear. It was certain things I couldn't unsee. It was certain feelings I couldn't, you know, I couldn't unfeel, man. And it cost me some bonds, it cost me some relationships. But this something that you gonna go through when you walking in this type of light. And you know, I got depressed. I had fell into a real depressed state. And not because I was on the drug, but because I felt like I didn't have control over everything that was around me, because I'm a man who used to have a control over everything around me. So once I went to losing, you know, friendships, once I went to losing, you know, bonds and relationships that I done established 10, 15 years strong, you know, it put me in the dark light. And it was almost something I couldn't shake out of. So after battling with this problem for so long, bro, you know, like years done went by and I'm still battling with this issue. So it's like I came to the realization, like, yeah, you know, ain't nobody coming to save you, boy. You got to get yourself right together. Like, you got to get right. So, you know, of course, my people, you know, they offered to get me professional help, go talk to a therapist, go to rehab. But I went for none of that because I just felt like I can do it on my own. I felt like I was strong enough to beat this problem. So, you know, I put all my money on me and I bet it on me. And less than 2 years later, you know, it wasn't no problem for me no more. You know, I had to beat my habit. I went cold turkey. Just me betting on me, thinking about my better good, and I end up winning. And if it's any fathers out there right now, you battling with drugs, sometimes you got to go get that professional help, bro. Ain't nobody too good to go get it. However you got to get the help, bro, get it. But just stick to it, bro, because it's light at the end of that tunnel. It might look dark, But I promise you, it's like at the end of that tunnel. And guess what? Everybody ain't gonna be there at the end of that tunnel when you make it out. Some people who you might have thought gonna be there forever might be gone. But I'm gonna tell you something, bro. I lost a lot of people walking on this road, bro. A lot of them, but I wouldn't change it because I found me. You know what I mean? I got me. I'm able to think for me. I make decisions for me. You did what I'm saying? So, yeah, you're going to lose some things, but, hey, man, the goal is to find you again, bro. So if that means some people got to go, man, guess what? You got to do that without thinking. You got to do that without thinking. If you want to win, bro, you got to put that money on you. You know, overcoming an addiction ain't never easy for nobody, bro. And you're going to have to fight every day. Every day is going to be a different fight. You know, it's going to be times when you might feel down. And guess what? Your mind might drift back off into them same feelings when you used to be getting high, bro. So every day is going to be a fight. And you're going to have triggers. You just got to show up for that fight. You know, and if it's any fathers out there and, you know, y'all battling addiction, y'all battling drugs, I'm finna be the first one to tell you, bro. Until you beat that addiction, you ain't never gonna have peace with your kids, man. So yeah, you got to beat that demon off the dripper, bro. He gots to go. You can't hold on to it. And you got to show up every time. And I used to say a lot, when I did get clean, I just say, oh, I did this for my kids, but I didn't do it for my kids. I did it for me. My kids just gonna benefit off my hard work and my decision to get my act together. But I ain't do it for them. I did it for me. You got to do this for you. You can't sit here and set your goals, especially on getting clean, or I'm going to do this for my mama, I'm going to do this for my children. No, bro. You'll never get done. You'll never get it done. You got to do it for you. You know what I mean? So if there's some fathers out there that can relate to this, man, hey, hit that subscribe button and y'all jump on this journey, man, because this right here is real life. It's another episode of Girl Dad Diary. Y'all stay tuned for episode 4, man. I love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in.